Hello, BookTube. I have another little mail haul to go through with you. This will be mail haul number 2 of the week. Just a few envelopes here. We'll see what may be of interest. Ooh. Oh my, very good. Okay, this comes out in late May. I requested this because it looks really good. This is Inglorious Empire, What the British Did to India by Shashish Tharoor. All about the deprivations of the Raj. The latest book to strip the romantic pertinences off the Raj. Let's see here. In the 18th century, India's share of the world's economy was as large as Europe's. Think about that. By 1947, after 2 centuries of British rule, it had decreased sixfold. Beyond conquest and deception, the empire blew rebels from cannon, massacred unarmed protesters, entrenched institutionalized racism, and caused millions to die from starvation. British imperialism justified itself as enlightened despotism for the benefit of the governed, but the author takes on and demolishes this position, demonstrating how every supposed imperial gift, from railways to the rule of law, was designed in Britain's interests alone. He goes on to show how Britain's industrial revolution was founded on India's deindustrialization and the destruction of its textile industry. In this bold and incisive reassessment of colonialism, Tharoor exposes to devastating effect the inglorious reality of Britain's stained Indian legacy. Okay, fantastic. So that, it comes out in late May. I don't know what the status is going to be as far as any other copies. It could be that this is just going to be a finished paperback when it comes out. In which case, I'm naturally curious to know if that's the case. Has this been out already? Did I miss this in hardcover somehow? No. No, I did not. Instead, it's just going to come out as an $18 paperback when it arrives in May, which is great. I think all books should do that. Just bring it out in a paperback. If there's a call for the hardcover, then let the people who want it that way buy it that way. Make a very small run of hardcovers. Reserve most of them for libraries and maybe hardcover collectors and stuff like that. But a person who's interested in British or British colonial or Indian history is going to be far more likely to go to a bookstore and pay $17 for this than $35 for what the hardcover would be. So I'm all for it. Let's see. Let's see if this next one is. Okay. All right. This is not known to me. This comes out in early May. My May shelf. Oh, it's disgraceful. This comes out in early May. It's a police procedural by David Mark. It's called Dead Pretty. In acclaimed British crime novelist David Mark's new, gritty, and atmospheric detective story, Detective Sergeant Hector McAvoy and Detective Superintendent Trish Farrow look to solve a host of local murders, though the killer may just be closer than any of them suspect. Hector McAvoy, Detective Sergeant for the Humberside Police Murder Squad, is haunted by the past. His devotion to his cases is unshakable, but it's been 9 months since Hannah Kelly disappeared in the quiet English countryside, and it is becoming harder to convince himself that she isn't dead. So that, I'm hoping that will be explained well in this book. Sounds like that's directly connected to an earlier book. Especially when another young woman is found brutally murdered under similar circumstances. But as he looks for connections between the women, his boss, Trish Farrow, is preoccupied with troubles of her own. Reuben Hollow, boy, the names of this book are killing me, a man convicted of murder with the help of perjured testimony from the Humberside police, has just been released from prison after a high-profile wrongful conviction suit, putting Farrow's reputation at stake. But when her house is broken into and her children threatened, she soon learns that her good name is not the only thing in danger. Okay, so this is going to have, it says here, it's filled with bleak, haunting landscapes, gritty city streets, and lowering skies juxtaposed against lush woodlands. So it sounds like the author is going to make the most of the physical setting, and that's great. That's always fun in a murder mystery. Great. All right. So early May. I'll get to that right away. I'll get to actually both of these right away. Let's see what's next here. Finished copy of something. Oh, fantastic. I can't remember off the top of my head if we saw this already, but this fascinated me. This comes out in May. Oh, God, the 1st of May. This is by Edith Schaeffer, and it is Asperger's Children, The Origins of Autism in Nazi Vienna. And it struck me as fascinating. I was hoping I would get a copy. Yes, okay, in 1981, English psychiatrist Lorna Wing publicized an obscure 1944 doctoral thesis by Austrian Dr. Hans Asperger. Asperger's work expanded the prevailing diagnosis of autism with a new spectrum of classifiable and potentially treatable autistic behaviors. Wing termed this range Asperger's syndrome, and within both the medical profession and larger culture, radically redefined the concept of autism. In this groundbreaking new book, prize-winning author and historian Edith Schaeffer takes a clear-eyed and unsentimental look at the career of Hans Asperger. Schaeffer reveals Asperger's willing participation in the darkest aspects of fascism, situates his innovation within the monstrous ideologies of Nazi eugenics, and details the human sufferings caused by him and his colleagues. The result is a thoroughly researched, powerful, and chilling assessment of Asperger and the diagnosis he invented. Oh my. Okay. All right, so this comes out in the 1st of May. It might be out already in bookstores, but that's going to be difficult reading. Much like the great book Nazi Doctors, in which, if I remember correctly, Asperger is mentioned, but this will be all about him. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I'm a big fan of World War II era history, but it's not always the easiest reading, of course. And then there's this last one. This will do for today. What is this? Oh, okay. All right. This is the finished copy of Stephen Macaulay's My Ex-Life, which is due in May, I believe. I believe this is a May book. Yes, it is. This is a May book. Oh, God. Stephen Macaulay was a resolutely mid-list author until he was lucky with a few adaptations of his book. Let's see here. Ever since Stephen Macaulay burst into the literary scene with his debut novel, Object of My Affection, readers have been smitten with his smart, lovesick characters, his intoxicating writing, and his eagle eye for social satire. The New York Times dubbed him the secret love child of Edith Wharton and Woody Allen. 3 guesses who dubbed him that at the New York Times. The first 2 don't count. 3 of his books have been made into feature films, and the French Ministry of Culture named him a Knight of the Order of Arts and Letters. And in this new novel, let's see here. What if home is where your ex is? Okay. I think we saw this before. I think we saw the advanced copy of this months and months ago. David Hedges is on the wrong end of someone else's midlife crisis. His longtime boyfriend has left him for an older man. His best friend is trying to sell his Ocean View Bay Area rental out from under him, and the privileged students he helps write college admission essays aren't getting any less bratty. And he has an ex who lives on the other side of the country, and they wackily re-engage. It's just made to be a movie. But even though I got the advanced copy a long time ago, I haven't actually read this. So I am clearly behind on my May reading. So I'll have to get to that right away. So we have a light novel, My Ex-Life by Stephen Macaulay, and then the heaviest of heavy history, Asperger's Children, about the man the Asperger's syndrome spectrum was named after. Then Dead Pretty by David Mark, an atmospheric police procedural, and Inglorious Empire by Shashi Tharoor, about the real nature of the Raj, the real exploitive and cruel nature of the Raj. So fantastic. That is Mail Haul number 2 for the week, and I will wrap it up here, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.